Chapter 17. Distinction of Benefits. At that time, when the Great Assembly heard the Buddha describe how his lifespan lasted such a very long number of kalpas, immeasurable, boundless as samkhayas of living beings gained a great many rich benefits. At that time the world-honored one said to the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva Maitreya, Ahita, when I described how the lifespan of the thus come one lasts for such an exceedingly long time, living beings numerous as the sands of 680 10,000s, millions, Nayadas of Ganges attained the truth of birthlessness, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas 1,000 times more in number gained the Dharani teaching that allows them to retain all that they hear, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as the dust particles of entire world gained the eloquence that allows them to speak pleasingly and without hindrance, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as the dust particles of entire world gained Dharanis that allow them to retain hundreds, thousands, then thousands, millions, immeasurable repetitions of the teachings, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as the dust particles of 1,000,000,000-fold world were able to turn the unregressing wheel of Allah, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as dust particles of 2,000 middle-sized lands were able to turn the pure wheel of Allah, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as the dust particles of 1,000 small lands gained assurance that they would attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 8 rebirths, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as a dust particles of 4 continent worlds gained assurance that they would attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 4 rebirths, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as the dust particles of 3 continent worlds gained assurance that they would attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 2 rebirths, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as the dust particles of 4 continent worlds gained assurance that they will attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 2 rebirths, and Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas numerous as the dust particles of 1 4-continent world gained assurance that they would attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 1 rebirth, and living beings numerous as the dust particles of 8 worlds were all moved to set their minds upon Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. When the Buddha announced that these Bodhisattvas and Mahasattvas had gained the great benefits of the law, from the midst of the air Mandarava flowers and great Mandarava flowers rained down, scattering over the immeasurable hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of Buddhas who were seated on lion seats under jeweled trees, and also scattering over Shakyamuni Buddha, and over many treasures thus come one who long ago entered extinction, both of whom were seated on lion seats in the Tower of 7 Treasures. They also scattered over all the great bodhisattvas and the 4 kinds of believers. In addition, finely powdered sandalwood and aloes rained down, and in the midst of the air heavenly drums sounded of their own accord, wonderful notes deep and far-reaching, and 1,000 varieties of heavenly robes rained down, draped with various necklaces, pearl necklaces, mani jewel necklaces, necklaces of wish-granting jewels, spreading everywhere in 9 directions. In jewel-encrusted censers priceless incenses burned, their fragrance of their own accord permeating everywhere as an offering to the Great Assembly. Above each one of the Buddhas there appeared bodhisattvas holding banners and canopies, in rows reaching up to the Brahma heaven. These bodhisattvas employed their wonderful voices in singing immeasurable hymns of praise to the Buddhas. At that time the Bodhisattva Maitreya rose from his seat, bared his right shoulder and, pressing his palms together and facing the Buddha, spoke in verse form, saying, "The Buddha preaches a rarely encountered law, one never heard from past times. The world-honored one possesses great powers and his lifespan cannot be measured." The countless sons of the Buddha, hearing the world-honored one make distinctions and describe the benefits of the law they will gain, find their whole bodies filled with joy. Some abide in this stage of no regression. Some have acquired dharanis, some can speak pleasingly and without hindrance or retain 10,000, a million repetitions of the teachings. Some bodhisattvas numerous as the dust particles of 1,000 major worlds are all able to turn the unregressing wheel of the law. Some bodhisattvas numerous as the dust particles of 1,000 intermediate worlds are all able to turn the pure wheel of the law. And some bodhisattvas numerous as the dust particles of 1,000 minor worlds are assured that after 8 more rebirths they will be able to complete the Buddha way. Some bodhisattvas numerous as the dust particles of 4, 3, 2 times the 4 continents after a corresponding number of rebirths will become Buddhas. Some bodhisattvas numerous as the dust particles of 1 set of the 4 continents after 1 more rebirth will attain comprehensive wisdom. Thus when living beings hear of the great length of the Buddha's life, they gain pure fruits and rewards that are immeasurable and free of outflows. Again living beings numerous as the dust particles of 8 worlds, hearing the Buddha describe his lifespan all set their minds on the unsurpassed way. The world-honored one preaches a law that is immeasurable and cannot be fathomed, and those who benefit from it are many, as boundless as the open air. Heavenly Mandarava flowers and great Mandarava flowers rain down, Shakyas and Brahmas like Ganges sands arrive from countless Buddha lands. Sandalwood and aloes in the jumble of fine powder rain down. Like birds flying down from the sky they scatter as an offering over the Buddhas. In the midst of the air heavenly drums of their own accord emit wonderful sounds. Heavenly robes by the 1,000, 10,000, million come whirling and fluttering down. Wonderful jewel-encrusted censers burn priceless incense which of his own accord permeates everywhere, an offering to all the world-honored ones. The multitude of great bodhisattvas hold banners and canopies adorned with the 7 treasures, 10,000, a million in kind, lofty, wonderful, in rows, reaching up to the Brahma heaven. Before each one of the Buddhas hang jeweled streamers and superlative banners, while in thousands, 10,000s of verses, the praises of the thus come one are sung. All these many things have never been known in the past. Hearing that the Buddha's life is immeasurable, all beings are filled with joy. The Buddha's name is heard in 10 directions, widely benefiting living beings, and all are endowed with good roots to help them set their minds on the unsurpassed way. At that time the Buddha said to the Bodhisattva in Mahasattva Maitreya, Ahita, if there are living beings who, on hearing that the lifespan of the Buddha is of such long duration, are able to believe and understand it even for a moment, the benefits they gain thereby will be without limit or measure. Suppose there are good men or good women who, for the sake of Anuttara Samyaksambodhi, over a period of 800,000 million nayadas of kalpas practice the 5 paramitas. The paramitas of dana, almsgiving, shila, keeping of the precepts, k shanti, forbearance, virya, assiduousness, and dhyana, meditation, the paramita of prajna being omitted. the benefits they obtain will now measure up to even 100 part. The 1,000th part, 100,000, 10,000, millionth part of the benefits mentioned previously. Indeed, it is beyond the power of calculation. Simile or parable to convey the comparison. For good men who have gained such benefits as those mentioned previously, to fall back without reaching the goal of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi is utterly unimaginable. At that time the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning once more, spoke in verse form, saying, if someone seeking the Buddha wisdom for a period of 800,000 million nayatas of kalpas should practice the 5 paramitas during all those kalpas, distributing alms to the Buddhas and to the Pratyeka Buddhas and disciples and the multitude of bodhisattvas, rare delicacies of food and drink, fine garments and articles of bedding, or building religious retreats of sandalwood adorned with gardens and groves if he should distribute alms of many varieties, all refined and wonderful, and do this for the entire number of kalpas to express his devotion to the Buddha away, and if moreover he should keep the precepts in purity and without omission or outflow, seeking the unsurpassed way, praised by the Buddhas, and if he should practice forbearance, remaining in a posture of submission and gentleness, even when various evils are visited on him, not allowing his mind to be roused or swayed, when others, convinced they have gained the law, harbor thoughts of overbearing arrogance and he is treated with contempt and vexed by them, if he can still endure it with patience, and if he is diligent and assiduous, ever firm in intent and thought, for immeasurable millions of kalpas single-minded, and never lax or neglectful, for countless kalpas, dwelling in a deserted and quiet place, and if he practices sitting and walking exercises, banishing drowsiness, constantly regulating his mind, and as a result of such actions is able to produce states of meditation, for 80,010,000 kalpas remaining calm, his mind never deranged, and if he holds to the blessings of this single-mindedness, and with it seeks the unsurpassed way, saying, I will gain comprehensive wisdom and exhaust all the states of meditation. If this person for 100, 8,000, 10,000, a million kalpas should carry out these meritorious practices as I have described above, still those good men and women who hear me describe my lifespan, and believe it for even a moment, win blessings that surpass those of such a person. If a person is completely free of all doubt and regret, if in the depths of this mind he believes for one instant, his blessings will be such as this. These bodhisattvas who have practiced the way for immeasurable kalpas, when they hear me describe my lifespan, are able to believe and accept what I say. These persons will gratefully accept this sutra, saying, our wish is that in future ages, we may use our long lives to save living beings. Just as today the world-honored one, king of the Shakyas, roars like a lion in the place of practice, preaching the law without fear, so may we too in ages to come, honored and revered by all, when we sit in the place of practice, describe our lifespan in the same manner. If there are those profound in mind, pure, honest and upright, who, hearing much, can retain it all, who follow principle in understanding the Buddha's words, then persons such as this will have no doubts about my life's span. Furthermore, ahita, if there is someone who, hearing of the long duration of the Buddha's lifespan, can understand the import of such words, the benefits that such a person acquires will be without limit or measure, able to awaken in him unsurpassed wisdom of the thus come one. How much more so, then, if far and wide a person listens to this sutra, or cause others to listen to it, embraces it himself or causes others to embrace it, copies it himself or cause others to copy it, or presents flowers, incense, necklaces, streamers, banners, silken canopies, fragrant oil or lamps of butter oil as offerings to the sutra rolls. The benefits of such a person will be immeasurable, boundless, able to inspire in him to wisdom that embraces all species. Ahita, if good men and good women, hearing me describe the great length of my lifespan, in the depths of their mind believe and understand, then they will see the Buddha constantly abiding on Mount Gridhakuta, with the great bodhisattvas and multitude of voice-hearers surrounding him, preaching the law. They will also see this Saha world, its ground of lapis lazuli level and well-ordered, the Jambunada gold bordering its 8 highways, the rows of jeweled trees, the terraces, towers and observatories all made of jewels, and all the multitude of bodhisattvas who live in their midst. If there are those who are able to see such things, you should know that it is a mark of their deep faith and understanding. Again, if after the thus come one has entered extinction there are those who hear this sutra and do not slander or speak ill of it but have already shown deep faith and understanding, how much more in the case of persons who read, recite and embrace this sutra? Such persons are in effect receiving the thus come one on the crown of their heads. Ahita, these good men and good women need not for my sake erect towers and temples or build monks' quarters or make the 4 kinds of offerings to the community of monks. Why? Because these good men and good women, in receiving, embracing, reading and reciting this sutra, have already erected towers, constructed monks' quarters, and given alms to the community of monks. It should be considered that they have erected towers adorned with the 7 treasures. For the relics of the Buddha, broad at the base and tapering at the top, reaching to the Brahma heaven, hung with banners, canopies, and a multitude of jeweled bells, with flowers, incense, necklaces, powdered incense, paste incense, incense for burning, many kinds of drums, musical instruments, pipes, harps, and various types of dances and diversions, and with wonderful voices that sing and intone hymns of praise. It is as though they have already offered alms for immeasurable thousands, 10,000s, millions of kalpas. Ahita, if after I have entered extinction there are those who hear this sutra and can accept and uphold it, copy it themselves or cause others to copy it, then it may be considered that they have already erected monks' quarters, or used red sandalwood to construct 32 halls, as tall as 8 tala trees, lofty, spacious, and beautifully adorned to accommodate hundreds and thousands of monks. Gardens, groves, pools, lakes, exercise grounds, caves for meditation, clothing, food, drink, beds, matting, medicines, and all kinds of utensils for comfort fill them, and these monks' quarters and halls number in the hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions, and indeed are immeasurable in number. All these are presented before me as alms for me in the community of monks. So I say, if after the thus come one enters extinction there are those who accept, uphold, read and recite the sutra or preach it to others, who copy it themselves, or cause others to copy it, or who offer alms to the sutra rolls, then they need not erect towers or temples or build monks' quarters or offer alms to the community of monks. And how much more is this true for those who are able to embrace this sutra and at the same time dispense alms, keep the precepts, practice forbearance, and display diligence, single-mindedness and wisdom. Their virtue will be uppermost, immeasurable and boundless, as the open sky. East, west, north and south, in the four intermediate directions and up and down, is immeasurable and boundless. The blessings of such persons will be as immeasurable and boundless as this, and such persons will quickly attain the wisdom embraces all species. If a person reads, recites, accepts and upholds this sutra, or preaches it to others, if he copies it himself or causes others to copy it, and if he can erect towers, build monks' quarters, offer alms and praise to the community of voice-hearers, if he can employ hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, millions of modes of praise to praise the merits of the bodhisattvas, and if for the sake of others, he employs various causes and conditions and accords with principle in explaining and preaching this Lotus Sutra, and if he can observe the precepts with purity, keep company with those who are gentle and peaceful, be forbearing and without anger, firm in intent and thoughts, constantly prizing the practice of sitting in meditation, attaining various states of profound meditation, diligent and courageous, mastering all the good doctrines, keen in faculties and wisdom, good at answering difficult questions. Ahita, if after I have entered extinction there are good men and good women who accept, uphold, read and recite this sutra, and have good merits such as these, you should know that they have already proceeded to the place of practice and are drawing near to Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. As they sit beneath the tree of the way, Ahita, wherever these good men and good women sit or stand or circle in exercise, there one should erect a tower. And all heavenly and human beings should offer alms to it as they would to the tower of the Buddha. At that time the world-honored one, wishing to state his meaning once more, spoke in verse form, saying, if after I have entered extinction a person who can honor and uphold this sutra, his blessings will be immeasurable, as I have described above. It is as though he had supplied all manner of alms, erecting a tower for the Buddha's relics adorned with the 7 treasures and with a central pole very tall and wide, that tapers gradually as it reaches the Brahma heaven. Jeweled bells by the thousands, 10,000, million, move in the wind, emitting a wonderful sound. And for immeasurable kalpas he offers alms to this tower, flowers, incense, various kinds of necklaces, heavenly robes and assorted musical instruments, and burns fragrant oil and lamps of butter oil that constantly light up the area around. In the evil age of the latter day of the law, if there is someone who can uphold this sutra, it will be as though he supplied all alms ascribed above. If someone can uphold this sutra, it will be as though in the presence of the Buddha he should use ox head sandalwood. He should use ox head sandalwood to build monks' quarters as an offering, or 32 halls as high as 8 tala trees, or supply all kinds of superior foods, and wonderful clothes and bedding, residences for assemblies of hundreds, thousands, gardens, groves, pools and lakes, exercise grounds and caves for meditation, all with various kinds of fine adornments. If someone with a believing and understanding mind accepts, upholds, reads, recites and copies this sutra or causes others to copy it or offers alms to the sutra rolls, scattering flowers, and incense and powdered incense or constantly burning fragrant oil extracted from sumana, champaka, or adimuktaka flowers, if he offers alms such as these he will gain immeasurable merits, boundless as the open air, and his blessings will also be like this. How much more so if one upholds this sutra and at the same time dispense alms, keeps the precepts, is forbearing, delights in meditation, and never gives way to anger or evil speaking. If one displays reverence toward memorial towers, humbles himself before monks, gives a wide berth to an arrogant mind, constantly ponders upon wisdom and is never angry when asked difficult questions but responds compliantly with an explanation. If one can carry out such practices, his merits will be beyond measure. If you see a teacher of the law who has cultivated virtues such as these, you should scatter heavenly flowers over him, clothe his body in heavenly robes, bow your head before his feet in salutation, and in your mind imagine you see the Buddha. You should also think to yourself, before long he will proceed to the place of practice and attain a state of no outflows and no action, bringing wide benefits to heavenly and human beings. In the place where such a person resides, where he walks, sits or lies down, or recites even one verse of scripture, there you should erect a tower adorned in a fitting and wonderful manner and offer alms of various kinds to it. When a son of the Buddha dwells in such places, the Buddha will accept and utilize them, and constantly in their midst will walk, sit or lie down.